Before we get on to the video that I just finished editing, I ended up changing my layout of the video that I had originally, changing it from what I had originally planned. So it might seem a little odd where I crop it and everything, and that's just because I had planned to stop it at different points, but I needed to change it because of length. So that just explains why it's a little weird. Yeah, enjoy the video, guys. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah. Ripley, come here. And this is Ripley. And today we are going to be talking about DBT skills, my experience with 4 different shops, and apparently he's gonna sit in my lap during the whole video. So yeah, let's get started. All right, another quick disclaimer. I am not a trained professional in DBT. I am someone who has done it for 4 years. I've been, again, in 3 groups. So I have a lot of experience with the skills, but I am not formally trained in this. This is just me explaining the overall picture of DBT. I always want to say DPT because deep pressure therapy, but DBT. So DBT is a type of therapy that is specifically trained, therapists are specifically trained for. There is a Linehan Board of Certification, but you don't have to get that certification to practice. And actually only one of the 3 practitioners that I've seen has that certification. And at the time she didn't even have it. She actually got it after I saw her. And I found out the reason that the other 2 didn't get the certification is because it costs a lot of money. And frankly, with like, if you have the practice, the experience, and you've done the training, that is required to call yourself one, which isn't the Linehan training and certification, that's different, then you don't need to have that certification. And since it's so much money, most therapists don't do it. And I honestly think that I've learned more from my 2 recent, my current one and my last one back in Pennsylvania. I learned more about DBT from them than I did my first one, and she ended up getting certified. Okay, so then the structure of dialectical behavior therapy is that there are 4 modules, and each module specifically helps with a different type of scenario in your life. First of all, there's mindfulness. Mindfulness plays into every other module. Mindfulness is, there are skills taught, and then there's mindfulness practice where you like do imagery and mental things to train yourself to be mindful. I like this one a lot because I like to do imagery. There are not just imagery mindfulnesses, there's breathing exercise, stuff like that. But then there are actual mindfulness skills, which I will talk about. The next module is interpersonal effectiveness, which if you can't tell by the title, I will explain. It is about relationships. It helps you figure out your objectives, the specific skills. I'm just going to name them real quick. Are Dear Man, Give Fast. Dear Man is for objective, Give is for relationship, and Fast is for self-respect. And they have worksheets that help you figure out which is your priority, and they literally walk you through how to do those kinds of interpersonal communication tasks. Really, really like that, but I don't use it enough. I really should. Should is a judgment. I really want to use it more. So yeah, so that's actually kind of the summary of interpersonal effectiveness. I will go back to mindfulness, but I'm going to keep going on this path of 4. So the next one is emotion regulation, and this one is huge. This one is, for me, one of the ones I have to do the most, but I don't do the most. Like, I could benefit from doing it more often. I will talk more about the skills in a second. I'm going to finish this list. The final one is distress tolerance. And now this one is probably the set of skills I use the absolute most. And it's to help you when you're really elevated and you're like in crisis. And they are very helpful, and I have my favorites, and they can be way overused. I am totally guilty of overusing them a lot of the time. So I'm learning to balance that now. So yeah, that is the overview. And now I'm going to break down each module a little more. Yeah, so anyway, so mindfulness. The core skills for mindfulness are called the what and the how skills. The what skills are, give me a second, I'm doing this full memory. I don't even have papers to reference, so y'all have to bear with me, please, because I want to try to do this from memory. So the what skills are observe, describe, and participate. Those are what you do. And then the how skills are how you do those things, which are effectively, non-judgmentally, and one mindfully. So they teach you how to practice those 3 what skills, and then how to practice them with the how skills. Because doing the what skills judgmentally and not effectively, and while multitasking, isn't as effective as doing it with the opposite of what I just said, which is mindfully, effectively, and non-judgmentally. So that's the idea behind the basis of mindfulness. There's another mindfulness skill called wise mind. There's also one that uses the same concept that's called being versus doing. But I'm not going to talk about that one because it's not as crucial of a skill. But if you are in DBT, it is a great one to learn. If you didn't learn it in one of the sessions of mindfulness, I highly recommend you look at it. Anyway, so wise mind is like a little chart. I'm going to use a visual. It looks like this. I don't know if you can see it. It's literally 2 circles. That's very dull. And basically one side is emotion mind, one side is reasonable mind, and wise mind is in the middle. And basically the way I was taught to do this, again, it could have been taught differently to other people, is that you literally list the facts, which is reasonable mind, and you list your emotions about it, and you can literally just sit down and write those out and then come to a wise mind, effective center, middle path. And sometimes it doesn't give you the answer. Sometimes you have to do other skills, like you might have to problem solve, you might have to use, and these are some emotion regulation skills I'm like naming, opposite action. So it isn't like, it doesn't just give you the answers, but it's a great first step if you don't know where to start. All right, so that's pretty much it for mindfulness. The next skill, or the next set of skills I'm going to talk about, since I pretty much went over all like the basis of interpersonal effectiveness, I'm going to, well, I guess I didn't give details about the skills. I'm not super good with those specific skills, so I don't feel like it would be right of me to try to explain them to you. So if you are interested in that, you can comment down below, and I will try to find a link that has, like, I know Katie Morton does some great videos on DBT, so I recommend looking into her, but I just don't feel qualified enough to specifically talk about those sets of skills because I haven't practiced them enough. And I don't want to give you wrong information. So next we're going to talk about emotion regulation. Emotion regulation is, there are a lot of skills in it just mushed together. So the core of emotion regulation, as far as I see it, is observing, describing your emotions, checking your facts, and then you can go technically 2 ways, but there are 2 ways to get to each of those options. And there's a whole worksheet specifically on determining that, but I will do my best to explain it. I'm going to take my glasses off halfway through this just because every time I look, I can see the reflection in my glasses. Sorry, but it's driving me nuts. So once you check the facts, I'm going to use this to just pretend they're all in midair to help organize my thoughts. Again, please bear with me. Not a professional here. So you can go one of 2 ways. You can go, yes, my emotion fits the facts, but it's not effective. One of 4 ways. I think that's what I said. You can go one of 4 ways. Yes, it fits the facts. Give me a second. I'm going to start that part over. So once you have checked the facts, you can go one of 4 ways. You can either have it say, yes, it fits the facts, but it's not effective to act on the urge that the emotion gives me. Or you can say, yes, it fits the facts, and yes, acting on it is effective. Or on the other end, you can say, no, it doesn't fit the facts, but acting on it is still effective. No, it doesn't fit the facts, acting on it is ineffective. And once you have your answer, each one of those has either you do opposite action or problem solve, depending on which one you got. And now if you got, yes, my emotion fits the facts, I really should have gotten a reference for this because this is going to kill me, guys. I'm literally doing this all from memory. So if it's, yes, my emotion fits the facts, but it's not effective for me to act on it, you want to do opposite action. So you want to do the opposite thing that your emotion is telling you to do, because that would be more effective than doing the thing your emotion is telling you to do. If the answer is yes and acting on it is effective, then act on it. Or if you need to figure something out, like if there's an actual like conflict going on, then you go to problem solving. Problem solving helps you really figure out where your emotions go and what you could benefit from, which often, in my experience, leads to interpersonal effectiveness skills or sometimes just stress tolerance skills. I mean, mindfulness skills too. But in my experience, it leads, when I do problem solving, I almost always have something to do in emotion or in interpersonal effectiveness that's helpful. So where was I? So if your emotion does not fit the facts, but acting on it is effective, then you want to act on it and or do problem solving. If it doesn't fit the facts, but acting on it, sorry, did I say that right? Oh, I'm literally losing my mind. If the answer is no, it doesn't fit the facts, but acting on it is not effective, use opposite action. I did say the first one right. This is hard. This is way harder than I thought. I'm really regretting not having reference, but I'm already this far through. I'm just gonna wing it. So yeah, I'm gonna have so much fun making fun of myself while I edit this. Anyway, yeah, so that's like the core of emotion regulation. There are other skills, but I find that these are the core ones that I use the most. And again, this is just an overview, a very long overview, but an overview nonetheless. So the next one is distress tolerance. And now there are a lot of skills in here. It isn't like they aren't all built on each other. They're all different skills to help with crisis. I'm going to name as many as I can remember, and I'm going to talk about a few of them. So there's distract with accepts. Accept is an acronym. I forgot to mention this at the beginning. DBT and Marshall Linehan love themselves an acronym. Pause. I forgot a very important emotion regulation skill. Please skills. Those are super crucial. And I really don't do them very well, which is ironic considering the fact that I forgot it. Please skills have to do with your physical health. And it's like please is for physical illness. Or the PL is for physical illness. Exercise is for E. I'm going to spell out the word please to help myself. This one is a really weird acronym. I have no idea what A is. I can't remember what A is. But S is sleep, I believe. And I have no idea what the other E is. I'm sorry, guys. I really don't know the please skills very well, as that has been made clear just now. But if you are interested in it, definitely look into it. I do have the PDF. So I guess it's legal for me to share the PDF? I don't know. I'm going to look into that. If it is, it'll be in the description. Anyway, so yeah, back to distress tolerance. So the distress tolerance skills include distract with accepts, self-soothe, improve the moment, radical acceptance, willing hands, and half smile. That's all I can remember off the top of my head, but those are a big chunk of them. The ones I use the most are improve the moment, distract with acceptance, self-soothe. Those are all like really, and tip. How did I forget tip and stop? How did I forget tip and stop? That's embarrassing. If you know DBT, those are like the first two distress tolerance skills you learn. Like, really, Hannah? Anyway, let's continue with the embarrassment of Hannah. So yeah, stop and tip are two crucial skills. And I'm going to talk about tip because it's super helpful and it can always be overused. It has to do with temperature change. So the T is for temperature change. So like your face in ice water or holding an ice cube. That's also part of like the distract skills and sensations. The S in accepts is sensations, and they like recommend holding an ice cube, but they also teach that in tip. Anyway, it's not as effective as a tip skill if you're using, oh my goodness. I kicked the chair. I don't have a tripod yet. That's fun. I'm going to leave that in too. So yeah, I'm going to just take a breather real quick. So tip, the first T is for temperature change. The next one is the next letter is I, and that's for intense exercise. And then there are two P's in the acronym. One is for paired muscle relaxation, and the other one is for paced breathing. They might be flipped in order, but it doesn't matter. Those are some great skills to learn, and I'm not going to talk more about it except just to explain it like I did. And I recommend those if you're in really intense crisis. Again, you can look it up, and if I am able to link it without getting in legal trouble, I will. Yeah, sorry if the lighting's changing throughout this video. I didn't realize how long I was going to end up making this, and the sun's going down, so I am sorry about that. So like the genius I am, I forgot to film an outro, so I'm going to make this really quick because this is really bad quality outro. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this. I know it was a little weird because of how I had to crop it, but please bear with me as I get used to filming and editing on a phone that is not the one I'm used to. Again, this is iPhone and I had Android, so please bear with me. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, don't leave a like. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!